And it's a green light. Good evening, everybody. I was just messing around with YouTube trying to figure out how people know that how are they finding me? And boy, sure enough, there we are, right there, right? If I go to the home page when I'm live, it's right there. You just click on it, and then afterward, you click on live, and that's the not live stuff. How about that? Cool. All right. That's pretty handy. All right. My name is Gary, Jolly Roger Ukulele. We rearrange, when we say we, I mean I don't know, I say we, rearrange the order of all of the lessons here last week. And you are the first ones to find this out. All of the ukulele sheets, almost all of the ukulele sheets for book 1 are now in the modern updated version that includes full standard notation on the chords and lyric line. And what that means is, if you click on Amazing Grace tonight, you're going to see a bunch of blue notes, and the blue notes are the accompaniment, right? So the lyric line or the melody line still there, right? But now you can easily see the accompaniment on both tough uke line and the chords and lyrics line. Right? And so what that should do is, if you are someone who likes standard notation, you can see what's going on there quite clearly. If you are somebody who doesn't care about that, it doesn't matter. You just now have some blue numbers on your page, and they're quite pretty. And so you can use those to get to kind of help you begin to understand how the accompaniment helps hold up the melody line. And so all of the sheet music for ukulele is done, and then I will be, as quickly as possible, converting those to baritone sheets, so baritone has the same exact thing going on there. And I have found in doing this 2 things. One, if standard notation really needs to be written out as if you are playing a low G instrument in order for it to be helpful. But just know any notes that are tabbed on this note are coming out an octave higher than it says on the sheet music, which is fine, which is better, which is cool, which makes ukulele really exceptional. But if you want to play exactly what's in the standard notation, you'd have to have a low G ukulele, which they're perfectly lovely. You just get a little deeper resonance to them, but it takes away a little bit of the ukulele-ness. And so, yeah, so you can decide whether that's something you're interested in or not. Now, let's take a look at lesson 14. Okay, you're halfway through almost. And the purpose of Amazing Grace, it has 2 purposes. Almost every piece of sheet music in book 1 has 2 or 3 purposes. And in this case, the purpose is to talk about not moving your hands unless you need to. And then the other one is coming out of Yankee Doodle, which has a bar chord here. Okay, we're going to take that same bar chord, we're going to move it back to 2 and get it here for Amazing Grace. And so the idea will be to continue to develop your bar chord and make sure that it's a part of your life. Kamos is here, ukulele in hand, glad to be here. She's been trying to get harmonicas out of the Amazon monster, and it's fighting back. So I'm glad you have ukulele here. So when we're looking at Amazing Grace, don't move your left hand unless you have to. Okay. Sorry, goodness sakes, we've had a wind blowing today, and I think all of the pollen is dusted up. Your chords on that ukulele: Amazing Grace, how, and then C chord, sweet, the back to G chord sound that saved a wretch like. Now, if you're singing, you're going to use the easy D7. Me, I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. So when you're singing, you don't need to use the fancy chord shapes. You don't, because your ukulele is backing up your voice. Your voice should be doing all of the work. Ukulele is just helping you out. And so if you wanted to do it in a 3 pattern, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. I'm doing it in a 4, even though I should be doing it in a 3. Or you can do it really slow. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once, right? So I'm just doing it in 3 there. It feels like not enough accompaniment. So probably 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I really want it to be in 4. So it's more to do with my singing than it does to do with the technique. The technique is flawless. My singing is terrible. So you can do that, right? Or strumming, of course. If you do go to ukulele strum along. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. So that's why I don't get super excited about chords, because the chords are not that interesting, but how you do it on your right hand is super interesting. And so I want you to just pay attention, because when we get to measure 7 on tough uke, we're going to have a completely different looking chord. It's actually going to be a D chord, and even though that moment in the song is more rightfully a D7, because of the way the melody lays in against the chord, we're going to end up playing a D chord rather than a D7, and in a very different shape. Okay, so then let's run through the melody really quick. Again, when you're thinking about melody, you're thinking about one note at a time. You're thinking about getting your hand in position where you don't have to move it around. And what you notice is there's no ones. There's no ones in the whole song. So don't put your index finger on 1, move it up to 2. Now you're in second position. That puts your pinky on 5. There's no note higher than 5. You're not going to have to move any fingers, okay? You're not going to have to slide up and down the fretboard at all. You're in second position. And so then just remember that 2 means your index finger, okay? Let's play just the melody. 1, 2. Oh, God, Gary. 1, 2. Let me start from the right note. 1, 2. Okay. Now, one of the things I did there was play with my claw, which I'm going to be trying to talk you into as much as possible, trying to play with your claw often. But of course, you could play it straight with your thumb. Either of those is perfectly acceptable. You want to practice both systems, because sooner or later one of them is going to be better than the other. And being able to play with your thumb, usually you get a nice powerful sound out of your ukulele. It's pretty reliable, but your thumb has a tendency to be a little bit slow, and so when you get into faster music, it's just maybe not going to keep up as well as it should. And whereas if you're using index, middle, and your thumb, these 3 fingers put together are pretty fast, and with a little bit of training you can get your index and middle fingers to be pretty good, right? And so that's what we're working on there. But now, more importantly, the song is about, when you dive into tough uke, there's a tendency to play the note, then take everybody off and rethink. And I'm exaggerating a lot, but what you want to be thinking about with tough uke is don't move something if you don't have to. Okay, so you've got your G chord on, as we start every song with the first chord, almost always. You hit the 2, and then you're going to play that little G chord. Now you don't need to move anything yet. 2 and 3 are still underneath your fingers. And again, this full G chord underneath your hand. Now the 0 is not under there, so don't lift everything up, just lift your middle finger up. And then you've got 0, 0, 3. Well, your index finger is holding down a 2, so you got to let that go. Okay, so now this finger has never moved yet. Okay, your ring finger has been on there in that spot the entire time until this moment, the last moment in 3. You take that and play the open one, and then start reassembling your G chord at the beginning of measure 4. So you're going to hit that 2, and the rest of my G chord is just kind of sneaking on in the background. Hit the 2 again, and then a little partial G chord here. Hit the 2 and the 3. Full G chord. Got to lift that middle finger up again to get the 0. Now here's where you have the big moment, right? And what I usually recommend here is get your bar, be putting your bar down as you hit that last note. Right? So the bar is coming down. You're going to have to hit notes on the bar first before you hit the 5. So if you can get that bar in place, then the 5 drops on. Now, talk about bar very quickly. A few lessons back, we talked about practicing your bar and toughening up your finger to do bars. Okay, and it wasn't great, but you see the thought here is if I can get my bar on, and it's going to sound better. If it sounds like that, that's not great. It may sound like that in the beginning. Don't worry about it. It'll get better. But what I really want to hear is, I want to hear all those notes clean. Now all I have to do is add my pinky on. Okay, and then I've got measure 7 and most of measure 8 done. Okay, the other reason to talk about this song is in measure 7, and we're saved a wretch like me. 2, 3, 1, 2. It's 5 beats long. Okay, all that swooshes, all those swooshes are causing you a bit of a like, oh my God, what the heck is that? It's just 5 solid beats, and you want to count them because you will come in, you'll do like me, and you won't give it the proper timing, right? So you want to count them in your head. Like me, 2, 3, 1, 2, I once. Okay, now we're going to talk about this moment here because it's important. You've got the 2 held down underneath your bar at the end of measure 8, that 2. And you can be putting your pinky and middle right there to get these next notes. Yeah. Okay, but that feels super awkward to me. Okay, because you got to open up this one. So in my mind, the smart thing is index, middle, pinky. But an even smarter way would be just go ahead and reassemble your G chord and reach your pinky up to 5. Because your next note is this 2, and if you do this one with your index, middle, and pinky, then you're going to have to move that middle finger back over here, and it would be nice to keep that buzzing, right? Nice to keep it playing. So put your G chord on there. When you see I, put your middle finger down and play it there. And go ahead and pull the bar off. Hit the middle finger with your 2, and then put your G chord on, add the pinky. Okay, pinky off. Regular G chord at 10. Middle finger up. Index finger up. Every finger up. Index finger back down. Put your whole G chord on, play 3 strings. And here's where that bar comes in again. And let that one be a little slower than you think, and then, okay. One of the things that happens in early music education is they beat in this business of the metronome, and nobody in the professional world would play that first note in measure 14 to tempo, right? Because it's this big moment. So Let it be a moment. Play it a little bit longer. Let it fade out a little bit more than it's supposed to. Nothing in the sheet music says to do that, but you should do that as a performer. Unless you're playing in an ensemble, and then everybody has to agree, oh, when we get to 14 we're going to make that a little bit longer, and Bob over here is going to be the leader of when we come in. Okay, so when I talk about show business, when you're in an ensemble, you have to talk about what show business moments you're going to actually do and how long those things are going to last and who's going to be leading that. All right, let's play it together, and then did we talk about this song last week? I don't remember us talking about it. So let's pretend this is our first week on it. Okay, from the top on Tough Uke, let's play it with thumbs first. Just your thumb over here and here. Move as little as possible here. Go. 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. Of course, the last chord we never let up. We always let the ukulele ring all the way out while we continue to hold the chord. Isn't that pretty? The main reason we don't want to be yanking fingers up unless we have to is that allows your ukulele to keep ringing, and it sounds really, really pretty. Let me grab a baritone real quick and do that one for those of you baritone players. And I'm on the wrong software. Let's grab here, ukulele, baritone. And so baritone even more important because baritone will ring a little bit longer and it's going to sound a little bit more dramatic if you don't pull your fingers up. Your metal strings are going to ring a little bit longer, and so you don't want to rush them. Okay, so same thing on baritone. If you have a ukulele, you can play a D chord, G chord, and A7 chord. Okay, those are the three you can play along with me. Okay, just the tough uke on baritone. 1, 2. Just this drone note basically just hanging around underneath the whole song, just dragging along, being pretty, and it reminds you a little bit of those bagpipes, right? That they got that drone note that's just always going, and it's just always sounding in the songs they play, and it to good effect. All right, I have too many instruments piled up over here in the corner right someday I'm gonna fix this room. Now, work on Amazing Grace. By the way, I said, oh, we're going to do it with a thumb and then we'll do it with the claw. I don't think we did it with the claw, but think about doing it with your claw as well. Whoops. So it just is a different way to do the same thing. Maybe a little more exciting, maybe better, maybe not better, but just different. Okay. All right. Let's talk very quickly about Happy Birthday. This is one of the songs that I ask you to memorize, not the song itself, but I ask you to memorize the chords, because sooner or later you're going to play Happy Birthday in public, and I don't want you to go get sheet music for it. Okay. And so On ukulele, it's a G chord. And you don't need to play the tough uke on this one. Really, honestly. Who's going to do that? Just play the melody. Or just sing it. 1, 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joe Schmo. And then you decide how long you wait. Everybody in the room is like, come on, come on, come on, go. Happy birthday to you. Okay. So you don't need to know that. You don't need to know how to play the tab on Happy Birthday, right? You just need to know how to sing it for somebody without the sheet music. So I ask you to memorize these chords: G, D7, G, D7, C, G, D7, G, D7, C, G, D7, G. Okay, it should take you about 5 minutes to memorize it, and then just play it every day for a little while, and you'll have it. If you want to play the tough uke, okay, it's more exciting. It's always better, but you don't need to. Whoop. What's that 2 doing there on the ukulele version? Get rid of that. That's a mistake. Don't use that 2. It should be open. Okay. So again, not a complicated song, but a song that you're actually likely to play out in the real world. If I look at the baritone version, same exact shapes. Happy birthday, happy birthday. That's not the song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joe Schmo. Happy birthday to you. Okay, and I would say that's by memorizing those chords. Now you have something that you can just goof around with and be silly with, and especially if you have a teenage boy in your life and you're like, hey, I'm going to come over and give you a special birthday present. When are all your buddies going to be around? And you sit him in the chair and you do the worst ukulele version of it in the history of the world. He's going to die and you're going to have fun. Everybody's going to remember it forever and it'll be super funny. So don't take Happy Birthday as seriously as the sheet music would lead you to believe. It works fine. So it's there, you can play that, but you're probably not going to play it that way. And so memorize those chords. Memorize those chords so that you can just play it. So years ago, we were at a concert and we were playing for a thing, a benefit type thing. And the MC came up and said, hey, I just found out the director is having a birthday tonight. Can you guys play Happy Birthday for him? And the band I was in kind of panicked a little bit because they were so used to being committed to sheet music that none of them were like, I don't think we can just do this on the spur. We haven't practiced this. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, see, you should have memorized those chords and then we'd be just fine. Because people, once you start, they're going to sing out loud anyway and then covering up your terrible musicianship. Happy birthday to you. Right? And so they jump in and sing. All right, there's Happy Birthday. This week, work on both of those songs. We'll repeat both of them next week. And then we'll add in whatever lesson 16 is. I can't remember off the top of my head because I just renumbered everything. And then hopefully, I don't know if I'll have time this week or not, but I'm going to get those sheets that are new converted to baritone as quickly as possible. All right, let's play some Celtic music. I look forward to this every week. I just love this stuff so much, and it is absolutely amazing that we can play it on ukulele. Jolly Roger, Book 2, Siúil A Rún. Okay, did I add these in here? Tell me I added them in. There they are. All right, let's do it on a ukulele first. This is our last week on this one. Boy, I've got to put some instruments away. All right. Ba-da-bum, bum, 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 ba. Let's see. Yeah. Dum, 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 da, 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 dum, dum, da, dum. Okay, if you can get that, see how far you can go with that. 1, 2, 3. Number 1. Second ending. Whoops. Okay, now back to 1. First ending. Back to the 1. cool? There's so many cool things about that. The rhythms in so many places are like, what is going on here? Some of those ties over the measures are super cool. And just some really pretty sort of mystical tones about it. And yeah, I love that song. All right, so just remember the way the repeats work. You play the first part twice, then the middle, then you go back, play the first part twice, and then play to the end, and skipping 15, 16, 17. And pretty cool piece of music. Yeah, Kamos likes it. Cool. Let's play it on baritone real quick, and let's not play the whole thing, right? You got the idea. But on ukulele, if you're backing me up, you got a D chord, that's those three. C chord, you know, D chord. E minor on the ukulele is bink, 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 right? That's that one. You know your G chord, you know your C chord. Maybe that's everything. When you see an E minor sixth and you're like, I have no idea what that is, it's really this one. But you can just play the E minor. It'll be fine. And let me play the sixth, right? And so that's one of those tricks that musicians tell you. They put these big old fancy chords on there, and they're like, the singer is actually the one doing the fancy thing. We're just dropping the chord in underneath them. So that E minor sixth, the sixth, is usually almost always the melody note, right? And that's usually taken up by either the lead guitarist or the singer. So. Okay, let's play the top twice and then just straight to the bottom. That'll be enough on baritone. You can get the idea. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3. Top. Fun, right? Gosh, that's a pretty song. All right, so hopefully that's making some sense to you. Last week we looked at Water is Wide. Did I put it in the system? I did. Water is Wide. Let's take a look at the ukulele version, because most of you are on ukuleles. And play through it one time. We don't need to do all the repeats necessarily, because it's just really one time through. The repeat here is just to make it longer, right? To get you into that second verse. The first verse, the narrator is in love, right? And so that's the good verse. And then the second verse, the narrator has been left behind, right? So let's play it one time through just to make sure everything's going right, and we'll talk about anything that's super weird as we bebop along. It's in A, so anytime on ukulele when you're in A, you can pretty much guess this pinky is going to come down on 4 on a regular basis. Okay, so those 4 comes into play because what's really happening in A is your C's become sharp and your G's become sharp, and so you're going to have a lot more notes in the 4th fret than you might in other keys, and so those two bring into play your pinky. And for me, for many years, my pinky has been my nightmare finger, and my thumb has been very obedient until I meet with my guitar professor, and then he's like, your thumb is a mess. But he's only a world-class guitarist. But for me, my pinky has been in all manner of wrongness for most of my career. I'm really working hard on getting it to be curved, and then it's coming in. Notice it's coming in almost backwards into the fret. That's probably ideal because you'd love to have your index finger coming in this way and your pinky finger coming in that way, and everybody's happy and strong and full of life, and that's what we're looking at. All right, let's take a look at Tough Uke. Again, A chord, D chord, F sharp 7. And ukulele, B minor is probably your tough one with that bar on it. And that bar, of course, when you see B minor, you're going to see an E coming along almost without question. In this case, it's right there, measure 9. You also have a C sharp minor in here, which is on 4. It's your B minor up on 4. Okay, so you see how 4 starts to play a major role in your life when you switch into the key of A. All right, nice and slow. Let's make sure we know everything in here. 1, it's just a 1 beat counting. So 1 and then go. Okay, 1. Don't go fast. Just let it happen. Pinky, bar, same bar, different spot. Pinky, page 2. And then just finish up bar on 4, F shape in front. Okay, it's not an ideal A. Okay, there's something very distressing about this A. It's an A chord, but you're ending on C sharp, right? So that's not ideal. So let me give you a better A to end on. In measure 35, go 9, 9, 9, 12. Okay, now you've got an A on the top. So when I rewrite this one, it will be 9, 9, 9, 9, 12. And ukulele 12s are fine as long as, like, again, it's easy to get them wrong, right? To get that. You don't want that. But 9, 9, 9, 12. Okay, that's a much better high A chord at the end than this one. This one's a little more doable, but this one's a lot better. Okay, so you've got this A chord, and this A chord. And we're going to end up using all three of those in this song to some extent. And that's what's kind of cool about fingerstyle ukulele. You have E7s in here, but you also have real E chords here. And so you're using the full fretboard to make up what I think is a quite lovely tune. And so for me, the challenge is really, there's only a couple of places where it's kind of a bummer. When you get to, where was it? Oh, in measure 10, you're on this C sharp minor chord. And then you got to get your middle finger down here to these fives. So you got to, it's kind of quite a stretch. And if you trust yourself, you leave your chord on, get your middle finger way down there. And then you've got to abandon that chord. Let that go as long as you possibly can before you go grab 2, O, and then an A chord. And you heard the first time I was late on getting that 4 on, clank, right? Because I was so in such distress. Or either that or just super proud of myself for getting the 5 in there, right? And so that's a kind of a tough moment. It comes up twice. Obviously, this song basically repeats 4 times, and then where were the other places? It gave me a little bit of trouble. I would say, ideally, look at measure. That's the same up here. Measure 6. You're coming out of this D chord, and you hit that high 2. Then you're dropping that bar on. Try to use your ring finger for the 4 there, and then your pinky can get the 5. And then you got to kind of move everything up, right? So that there's quite a lot of unpleasant motion with your pinky ring and pinky and ring doing all the work here while your bar's just hanging out being lazy. And so there's some amount of technical skill that's going to be necessary there to get your fingers working. Okay, so beautiful piece. We won't take time to play it on baritone because it's already getting kind of late. Because I want to talk about Whiskey in the Jar is what I really want rushing toward. So Water is Wide, pretty song. Don't play it fast. Seriously, the slower you play it, the better it is. And next week we'll play the whole thing, and we will talk about how sad it is that this poor narrator loses their love, and it goes away. Who breaks my heart? That's how the song ends. And you're like, oh my gosh, how sad. 18th century Scotland, 18th century, right? They were still busy chasing down and murdering everybody back in those days. The Scots were known for being kind of tough people. So there we go. So Water is Wide. Love it, love it, love it. Hopefully you are loving it too. Baritone's exactly the same. And then in a different key. And then Whiskey in the Jar. Let's take a look at that because that's just kind of a silly one. So Whiskey in the Jar got famous because Metallica did a version of it. And you don't have Metallica's version, but you have the essential idea here. And basically what's going on here is there's a guy who's stolen the money, and they go down, there's a big fight, and he's getting his money back, and that's pretty much it. But that's not the point of the story, because look how many verses you have. You have, I don't know, a zillion verses. Looks like 6 verses, right? And you're not, and the reason you do this song is if you look on measure 9, Musha Ray, Dumma Dumma Doo, Dumma Dumma Da, whack, whack for me, Daddy-O, whack for me, Daddy-O, there's whiskey in the jar, right? So it's there's no meaning behind it. It's just super fun to do that really dumb ending and then say, there's whiskey in the jar. So it's a very, swashbuckling kind of thing. Let's see if I can get the melody kind of right. Let's take a look through the tough uke. As da 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 Okay, so that's just straight D chord, right? You're going to move your ring finger around a little bit. Switch over to your B minor. Those are going to show up in key of D all the time. And then, again, your bar is going to be super lazy here. Your pinky will change the chord into something beautiful. Now you got that 4 hiding underneath there, so you're going to have to get your pinky under there. Kind of awkward. Okay, so that's a hard moment there. And that comes up in a lot of songs where, because this pinky tucked under here in the same fret as whatever your minor key is hanging out on, what it's really doing is creating, right, bum, bum, it's creating that moment of tension to be resolved. So if I'm going wa da 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 wa da da wa da 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 wa da da, you can just feel that tension there for just a second, right? And then we're going to resolve it. Okay, and then we go to the G chord here. Da da da. Here's the wrong note. Dum da 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 dum dum. Okay, so you can feel these moments when there's. So in the previous song, when we hit 4, it was in the key. And this time when we hit 4, it's not, right? On the first string, when you hit 4 on the first string, it's not in the key. So that's a lie. It is in the key. C sharp is in the key, but it's not really where the song wants to hang out. It wants to hang out on D, and so it's right. And so it's creating this moment of tension to be resolved. So those C sharps, while they're in the key, they're the 7th of the key. C sharp to D is what's really, the song wants to desperately get back to D. It's a very D-ish song. Okay, then measure 4, which kind of repeats the main idea. Oh, this is one of those things that causes me trouble all the time. 2 2 2 2. Should I do 2 2 2 and then add my pinky, or should I do a bar there? And you will catch me doing both all of the time, because I never can quite. Sometimes it's smoother to do one over the other. This one, since I've hit the chord a long time ago, I'll probably drop a bar on the top of that. But obviously, if you got your hole in your D chord, you can just add a pinky. It's a little awkward, but that keeps that D ringing. If you feel like that's the way to do, both of those are acceptable choices. Okay, then you go to measure 5. And then produce me rapier. There's this C sharp again. And you'll want to pay attention, maybe go listen to the MP3 a couple times to get the rhythm of this. Bum bum ba dum bum ba dum bum bum ba dum bum 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 ba dum ba dum ba dum ba da dum bum bum ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum bum. That's what you're trying to get, that swashbuckling sound, right? That's why Metallica wanted it, right? And then on to page 2, measure 7. We've already seen this. Musha, right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, now we're in a completely different song. Musha. Musha, re, dama, do, dama, da. Okay, that's what's going on there. Musha, re, dama, do, da. Musha, re, dama, do, dama, da. And then it's whack for my daddy-o. Okay, so it's whack for my daddy-o. Chord. Whack for my daddy-o. It's whiskey in the jar. Oh, and then you repeat, right? And repeat 6 times. We'll never do that ever. We'll do it twice. And then let's look at the ending here. Whiskey in. Now, so the ending here is different. After 6 rounds of the same exact D-A-D, turnaround, you're going to want something different to finish it up, and so you toss in some F sharp minors and A7s. Okay, so if we're coming around, whack for me, daddy-o. Whack for me, daddy-o. There's, and then you go to measure 6. Whiskey in the jar. Right, so a little bit more of a dramatic ending on that one. So kind of fun. Not a ton of difficult music, but kind of some interesting concepts when you think about what is the C sharp doing inside of this key of D piece, and it's really creating this hesitation, a moment of tension to be resolved by the next D note. So there you go. And with this one, the more swashbuckling you can get it, the better. Or if you're not going to do that, then make it as medieval. Blink, 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 and you know, do it that way. You owe nothing to Metallica, so don't do it their way. Do it your way. All right, have a wonderful week, you guys. I will see some of you tomorrow night in the Beatles. We got 3 Beatles tunes. What are they tomorrow? Norwegian Wood will be wrapping up. Obla Deep, Obla Da we learned last week. And then I'm skipping Octopus and Yellow Submarine on the list because I need to break them up and turn them into 2 separate songs instead of one medley. And so we're going to move on to Penny Lane while I spend some time breaking those 2 apart. So we'll look at Penny Lane. Penny Lane is great. It's a great song. So hope to see lots of you there. And that's what I know about tonight. Have a wonderful week and or a wonderful evening, and I hopefully will see some of you tomorrow. And that's enough ukulele for now. Go play some Celtic music. It's beautiful. Peace.